My name is Ibeh Agbanyim. I live in U.S. and I'm a student of Grand Canyon University in Arizona. So I will make it as brief as possible, even though this is a big topic to discuss in 15 minutes. But I understand the urgency. The title of my presentation is called Fear, the Invisible Determinant. So my presentation is to humanize fear, because we already know how negative fear is. So I'm not going to dwell too much on the definition of fear, because we already know. This is the approach. I will talk about the invisible determinant that fear is, and how fear is a memorized emotion. Also, I will talk about allosteric load and thoughts, destructive versus constructive fear, and 3 explanatory styles of explaining your situation, and then I will conclude. I will start with a quote from Supreme Justice Sonia Sotomayor when she was talking to a group of law students at Oklahoma University, and she advised them that hearing is not the same as agreeing. You can hear things and disagree, but you are not entitled to disagree until you understand. So basically, I'm starting from this position because I understand that I'm coming from a position of resistance when it comes to this topic of fear. These are 2 psychiatrists from, one of them is University of Yale University, and the other one is from University of New York. They explain fear, or they discuss fear from the position of fear can be constricting and even paralyzing, while for others it's also energizing and serves as a catalyst for growth. So clearly, these two psychiatrists are telling us that yes, fear can be a positive force if well managed. I'm here to tell you that fear, based on my findings, based on my understanding of fear, fear is a memorized emotion, which means we understand that fear, all through our lives, we have heard about fear as a negative construct or negative emotion. So over the years, we have memorized that emotion, that fear is negative. Dr. Joe Dispenza once said, one of the neuroscientists in US, wrote a book called You Are the Placebo. He's the one that came up with this memorized emotion concept. He said that there's what is called cognitive script. Cognitive script is basically when you do something over and over again, your brain will write a script for you. So if that's the case, if we know fear as a negative emotion, it is possible that we are seeing it from that scope. And I will prove it to you. Allosteric load is basically, I can paraphrase it, I have the evidence to support it, that stress doesn't disappear in our bodies. I'm just paraphrasing what this. The stress doesn't disappear in our bodies. It collects and deposits, it stays in our body to the end of our lifespan. So what does that mean? If we are entertaining fear from a negative perspective, it is possible that we are destroying ourselves. And it does affect our age. It does affect our lifespan. According to National Science Foundation, the findings in 2005 said that an average brain, a healthy brain, processes about 12 to 60,000 thoughts on a daily basis. And out of those 60,000 thoughts, 80% of them are negative. And out of those 80% negative, 95% of them are our repetitive thoughts. So if that's the case, if we know fear already as a negative emotion, that means we are processing that 80% of the thought, and 95% of them is what we're looping around all day long in our brain. So I'm here to submit to you that fear can also be a healthy emotion. Another study from Harvard University combined with Virginia State University, the 2014 study came out and said that 67% of men, as opposed to 25% of women, resent staying with your thoughts alone. Which means basically men do not like to stay with your thoughts alone. We like to find something we like to engage in one thing or the other, as opposed to women, which means women are more, when it comes to disciplining our thoughts, women are more disciplined when it comes to that angle. And the study shows that the subjects were only asked to be silent with no electronics, nothing to you, just sit silent for 6 to 15 minutes. And if you can't stay that long, just press a little mild shocker that they gave them. That's how they kept track of it. And it was very unfortunate that, I guess I should say 6 or 7 out of 10 men could not do it. So they pushed that button several times. And the study shows that one of them pushed it almost, I think 90 times, which means he was going crazy. He wanted to get out of that area. Then let's talk about destructive versus constructive fear. I'm going to explain it. It's also in my book. Destructive fear basically explains that the individual focus on negative outcomes. That's what psychiatrist Sadwick and Cheney in 2012 said. And they also focus on reacting versus responding. And you all know that reacting requires minimum brain processing, as opposed to responding, which means some kind of brain activity for you to respond to something. And then another researcher says that it's a repetition of redundant messages. That's what destructive fear leads you to do. You loop around the same thing over and over in your head. And the next one is constructive fear, which simply reverse the case. So you focus on positive outcome, you respond as opposed to react. And they also apply what is called metacognition. Metacognition basically means thinking about your own thoughts. There are 3 types of explanatory style: personalization style, permanence style, and also pervasiveness style. These are 3 types of explanatory style that we use to explain our situations or circumstances in life. Number 1, personalization style simply suggests that people internalize their situations, which means you say to yourself, I am the only one going through this situation. Nobody else on this planet is experiencing what I'm experiencing right now. It also means that you blame all the problems, all your situations, all your circumstances on yourself, without considering other factors that could be possible. And the third one is you feel like it's a unique case for you, like a custom-made problem for you. The second one is permanent style, which means you think in your mind that the problem is here to stay. The problem is it's not going to go anywhere. I am stuck with this problem. And when you start looking your circumstances or your problem from that scope, it paralyzes you. And also you feel like it's irreparable. The last one is called pervasiveness style, which means it is universal. If somebody in the forgotten corner of somewhere in New Zealand is experiencing hunger, it is possible somebody in Mobile, Alabama is experiencing hunger, which means you can personalize it, you can permanent the situation, but you can also understand that it is universal. So what you are going through is possible that you can overcome it. And then it also means that problems, you understand that problems has no bound, which means it doesn't discriminate. And also it means it is a human experience, period. So this is the one that we highly recommend that we allow ourselves to be in that space. Because when you see problems from that scope, like Dr. Carl Hammerschlag, one of the leading psychiatrists in Arizona, once said that the way you see things might not be the way they are. It just, you see it through your own scope of life. And also, we tend to see our problems the way we are and not the way the problems are. So we overly inflate our problems in that process. For the sake of time, My conclusion is that fear is an invisible determinant. That's what determines our next course of action in life, whether to respond or to react to a situation. And I hope we understand that fear is a memorized emotion. So we can also challenge our minds to unlearn what we have already learned. We can also understand that fear has two qualities, constructive and destructive type of fear. And I also talked about the three types of explanatory style, which is personalization style, permanent style, and also pervasiveness style. If you are interested in getting more information, here's the book, and here are the references. Thank you. Thank you.